guys, thank you so much for coming to my channel. I am Chiara, or you can call me Dolce, and I'm so glad you're here. Look, I promise I have clothes on, okay? I'm sorry. Look, remind me to keep lifting this up because I am not trying to be suggestive, I promise. It's just my angle, it's just my shot. I am actually filming another episode of the Honey and Hot Sauce podcast, so feel free to listen in and go ahead and join the conversation on my Instagram at Chiara Dolce or at Honey and Hot Sauce podcast, and make sure you also subscribe to this channel. So let's talk about pretty girl problem number 3. You'd be pretty if you were a different skin tone. Seriously? Okay, anyway. Of course, I typed my notes, so I will be looking down at my computer every now and then. So yes, this is usually directed towards brown skin and dark skin girls, but I do know that light skin girls and mixed girls go through the same thing, and Hispanic girls go through the same thing. So I understand that there are many different skin tones who deal with this, but I'm speaking from my perspective and the perspective of most brown skin and dark skin girls because I can speak intelligently. I mean, look at my skin. Okay, it's brown. So this is not to say that light skinned girls don't go through the same thing for being called too light or too white or whatever. Colorism is a cancer in the Black community, and what I'm trying to do is get rid of it by exposing it. And I think we should just learn to appreciate every skin tone. I really want to know, who determines what skin color looks better than another and why? What is it about golden tones that is supposed to be more appealing or more attractive than, say, a mahogany tone or a milky tone? So I'm the darkest of all my siblings, but I didn't even know that until I got older, because in my family it was not a big deal. It was not talked about. It was not anything that was an issue for me at all. And honestly, all I remember hearing growing up was that I was so beautiful and so smart, and my hair was beautiful, my skin was beautiful, my eyes were beautiful, my legs were beautiful. Like, I never remember hearing in my family or in my household that I was ugly, especially because I was darker than the others. And I'm really proud of my mom and my grandmothers and my family members, my close family members, for really making me feel beautiful. I really appreciate y'all for that. It wasn't until I got into a certain grade that I started to feel like, does my skin color affect how pretty I am to some people? I had a boyfriend in elementary school. I know. But I did, and probably from 1st grade to like 3rd grade, so we dated for 2 years. That sounds so weird. But I remember in 3rd grade, a light-skinned girl was joining our school. She was the new girl, and suddenly all the attention went to her. And she's so pretty, and she's this, and she's that, and I was like, I want to be light-skinned. Like, that made me want to be light-skinned. Until then, I never even thought about being light-skinned. I never even considered it. And I know that at 8 years old, it's not supposed to be that deep, but for me it was. Crazy, right? And I feel like it doesn't take that much to make someone, it doesn't take a whole lot of input from various sources to make someone decide in their head that, dang, maybe I'm not enough. And honestly, I couldn't get that out of my head for years. I remember even getting older and one of my mixed friends telling me that I could have guys that she couldn't have, and I was like, psh, girl, I did not believe her. And she was straight up telling me, like, yes you can, because you're brown. Like, there are some guys who specifically love brown girls and you can get them and I can't. And I didn't believe her because low-key I was thinking, like, yeah, I'm pretty, but if I was light-skinned or if I was mixed, I would be gorgeous. And like, why was that a thing? Why did I have to feel that way? It's because I blame it on society. Real people may not have believed it, but society was kind of making it a thing. Like, they were really trying to push that light was right, and the more ambiguous you look, the better. And honestly, I started to see it more. I saw it in music videos, I saw it in magazines, I saw it on TV, I saw it on movies. I was starting to see it everywhere. And then when social media came out, I saw it on social media. The older I got, I started to encounter the real people who would say things like, you're drop dead gorgeous, oh my gosh, you're a 10 out of 10, and you are just gorgeous, you're just beautiful, and you look at your skin is so beautiful. And it was kind of hard for a while to really believe it because of the stuff that, like, I really want to thrive in the entertainment industry, and so a lot of my opinions are formed based on that. And it's really messed up. Because like, society and the entertainment industry will literally make you feel like if you're not ambiguous, and I mean not even like light skin, you could be light skinned and still have tight coils. I'm not even gonna say, forget the quotes. You could be light skinned and still have tight coils and be less than preferred in Hollywood, in you know, whatever that matrix of society is that's not real. But anyway, I am grateful for independent filmmakers, independent writers, because they are glorifying melanin and natural hair. So I can say that I'm really appreciative of it existing. But Hollywood still has a whole lot of work to do when it comes to that. Late last month, my sister and I went to LA just to be there. I had never been there before, and it just was like the perfect time to go because my daughter was away with her dad for 2 weeks. And yeah, you saw the video. Anyway, while we were there, we went with like happy-go-lucky moods, stars in our eyes, just ready for a good time. And I remember the first day there when we went to brunch, there were some women there, some brown women, some full black women who seemed to be so cold. Like they just came in with an attitude. And it was crazy because my sister and I came in like, hi, how are you? Yes, it's 2 of us. Can we sit outside? Oh, we like the umbrella. Oh, no, we don't want the umbrella anymore. We're cold, we're hot. Like, we were in such a great mood, and the staff could tell, the servers could tell, the host could tell, everybody could tell and reciprocate that positive energy that we brought. But the black women there were so like waiting, like just waiting for something to be wrong. And I remember even their greeting was like, hello, yes, it's 3 of us. Like they just wouldn't smile. They just were, it's like they were ready for something to be wrong, ready to be treated unfairly and call somebody out on it. And I remember just noticing it, but just brushing it off like maybe they had a bad day. But then later that week, when we picked up my cousin, I'm not gonna say she had the same coldness, but she was very like reserved and very, I don't know, just not happy-go-lucky. And maybe her personality is not happy-go-lucky, but she actually made a statement that stood out to me where she said, black men don't like black women in LA. And it was like, that was a sad thing because this is where you are living. How do you find love in a place where you feel like the type of person that you want does not want you back? And I was like, well, maybe a lot of black women are experiencing that in LA, and that is sad to have to realize, or to have to accept as your reality. So maybe that's why a lot of black women there were like that. And I chalk it up to the narrative that Hollywood is creating, because we were literally in Hollywood. It has to be the narrative that Hollywood is creating, because I feel like if there is a narrative that's being created by Hollywood and by society, the hub being LA would be the place where it's saturated, where that mindset is saturated. And I guess I could kind of see that. But then I also feel like there's a cycle going, there's a reciprocation going, where a black woman experiences it and then puts out the energy of nobody wants me. And when you put out the energy of nobody wants me, it returns to you. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like maybe these black women didn't start off that way. Maybe they started off the way me and my sister were. We were just visiting, and of course we were happy-go-lucky. We were only there for a week. But maybe if we had stayed there, and maybe if we had continued to experience something like that, we would have eventually started to feel bogged down with that energy. It's kind of hard to, if something is constantly being thrown at your mindset, it's kind of hard to deflect it. It might be hard to get rid of it unless you consciously realize that that's what's happening and you purposely do something opposite of that. But I will say that while we were there, we didn't get that energy. At least we didn't pick up on it because we weren't expecting it and we weren't looking for it. So that might have been a difference. I don't know. However, I will say that in the entertainment industry, I do see it a lot. And if the entertainment industry's hub is LA, how can you not see it? So low-key, my fear is that as I pursue a career in the entertainment industry, that I'll come across that a lot, because I hear a lot of brown-skinned women talk about it in the entertainment industry. So now my question is, why is that there? Of course, the easy answer is that's what the man wants everybody to think. It's a fight against evil and good on, you know, and it's a war waged against black people and against black energy and the black minds. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here talking about it. Because anyway, Why is it a thing? This is what I want to ask you. Why is it a thing that brown skin and or full black women are not viewed as just as beautiful as a person with lighter skin tone or an unclassifiable feature? Chew on that. Okay, so you know we got to talk about it. This past week it was Chris Brown's birthday and a video surfaced that I don't know if it was filmed recently. It had to be filmed recently, but it was about an event that happened back in 2019. You know, the whole darkies, no darkies allowed situation. Lord, honestly, I can't even believe that that term was used. Like, people should be a lot smarter, but hey. But I will say that when that whole thing first went down in 2019, when I first heard about it, I was kind of triggered. I was a little bit triggered because it's like up until that point, I think I was ignoring the message that all the basketball wives, all the rappers' wives, all the famous men's wives looked a certain way. I definitely had been ignoring that because I was like, not all of them, you know, like there's a few here and there that are brown, that are full black, you know. But then when that whole thing happened with Chris Brown, it was very disappointing because I was like, dang, a lot of us are fans of his, and like, how are we supposed to feel? Like, we can't be trophies, we can't be. And I have a problem with that because I'm used to being a trophy. Like, again, in my family and in my house, it was never a problem. It was always, Chiara is so beautiful. But then as soon as I step outside, it's like, no, you're not, because your skin is brown. And I guess that's why I wondered, like, I guess that's why I didn't believe my family and friends. Because I'm like, y'all are saying that, but are y'all saying that because y'all love me and y'all know me as a person and y'all like my personality and my character? Are y'all saying that because y'all are biased and you want my self-esteem to be high? Or are y'all saying that, you know, just to try to protect me against the world? And is the reality that I'm not really all that because my skin is brown? But at the end of the day, no. What am I going to do? Bleach my skin? Harm myself so I can be accepted? No. No, I'm not. I know I'm beautiful and I had to accept that. Like, sometimes I just have to look at my features. I have to just look at my eyes. I have to look at my face as a whole. I have to look at my body and be like, you actually are really, really gorgeous. Like, you really are, just like your friends and your family say. And anybody who doesn't believe that because of your skin tone is a bonehead. This brings me to Serena Williams. So recently some pictures came out of her on Instagram where she was looking very much bleached. And I was so sad. I'm like, come on, girl. Like, no, don't Sammy Davis Jr. on us, please. Sammy Davis Jr. don't look good, okay? He don't look good. And Serena Williams is beautiful, always has been beautiful. Even when she had her beads, chicken. She's always been beautiful. Like, what? Girl, please. Carry that somewhere else. Same thing with Lil' Kim. Like, I remember seeing old pictures of Lil' Kim and I was like, what? That girl was gorgeous as a brown girl. Like, it really doesn't help. Bleaching does not help. Being lighter doesn't help, okay? If you're beautiful, you're beautiful. Point blank. There was literally no reason that she had to feel like she had to bleach her skin in order to feel accepted by some stupid colorist. I mean, it is in fact possible to be beautiful, gorgeous, amazingly beautiful, amazingly pretty, as a whole freaking 10 out of 10 as a brown woman. And actually it's common, okay? It's common. It is the norm to be beautiful with your brown skin. So again, I ask you, what exactly is it that makes skin beautiful? What exactly determines how skin is valuable? Is it the amount of light it can reflect? Is it the elasticity? Is it the longevity and the youthfulness? Is it the amount of protection from the sun? I mean, I feel like these are very important factors to consider when we're thinking about beauty, you know? Elasticity, reflecting the sun, protection. Wow. Do you realize I just described melanated skin? Yes, I did, and you're welcome. Skin with melanin stays pretty longer. So I feel like that automatically makes it prettier. No? See, I mean, if you were to open a can of soda, would you want it to go flat immediately? Just like, would you want skin that's going to go wrinkly in 5 years? Make it make sense. You know, I want the soda that's going to be bubbly longer. The same way that we are quick to put people in their place, boom, bam, boom, for being racist, we need to do the same thing with colorists. I cannot stand hearing light skin this and light skin that as a pedestal. I can't stand hearing red bone this and red bone that as a pedestal, when at the same time brown skin this and brown skin and that and dark skin this and dark skin that is looked at as less appealing. Don't try me. That is racist. You better not say that again. Watch your mouth. We need to keep the same energy that we have when we talk to people about being racist. Nope, that is racist. You better not say that again. We need to do the same thing about that is colors. You better not say that again. You know what I'm saying? Just keep the same energy. And we need to do that until everybody learns better and does better, so that the narrative can change and skin color will no longer be a pretty girl problem. I would love to talk to a light skin and or a mixed person about this, because I know y'all deal with pretty girl problems as well, and I totally understand. Again, like I said, I was coming from my perspective as a brown skin girl, but yes, I definitely want to talk to somebody who's light skinned, because I understand that y'all go through similar things. I definitely do. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let's get a conversation going, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye bye.